Hey, Pretty Girl Club. Welcome to When Black Men Think They Own You, Episode 4. My. These YouTube streets and these black male streets are treacherous. We've got two breaking stories today. One about Mr. Jonathan Majors, who was a suspected abusive type of guy, and he was found guilty today. And then we have the one, the only, the man of God, Mr. Tyler Perry, who has also allegedly been accused of harassing men behind the scenes, trying to get men to shake their cheeks and do all kinds of things for him in order to stay relevant in the industry. And this just reminds me of the entitlement. By the way, I'm talking about these scenarios because in Tyler Perry's case, one of the guys he allegedly harassed is suspected to be this one MLS man. And in Jonathan Majors' case, Jonathan Majors reminds me of a lot of men who they will go out of their way to marry or procreate with non-black women so that they can birth us, mixed race people. Because, like I said, a lot of people view having a mixed baby or having a baby who looks mixed, they view it as a sign of status. And then, when you see these guys who are high up in Hollywood, the people like Diddy or people like Tyler Perry, a lot of those types of guys view having a mixed woman or man as a symbol of status, and they love how it feels to have an MLS person submit to them or do whatever they want, because I really do feel like some people seek after success or fame or riches as a coping mechanism for their inferiority complexes. And I also think that some people, if they have an inferiority complex about their background or their race or their phenotype, I think a lot of people like that, when they get into positions of power, the first thing they do is they get away from dating unambiguous black women or men. They get away from unambiguous black communities, and then they run over to either the mixed race community or the non-black community so that they can create us mixed race people. So this just goes along with one of the theories that I've been talking about on this channel for a very long time, which is that most people want to date us or create us. Usually a person wants to have a mixed race boyfriend or girlfriend, or they want a non-black boyfriend or girlfriend so that they can birth mixed race children. I have noticed that that is an overwhelming theme. Also, in the case of Jonathan Majors, somebody said that he had said to his girlfriend, like, "You're nothing like Coretta Scott King," or something about how she needs to act more like how Coretta Scott King acts. Coretta Scott King was married to Martin Luther King, and we all know that Martin Luther King is kind of like a very highly respected man in the black community. And I saw a clip where Jonathan Majors was kind of talking about how great of a guy he is and how his career, he's basically at the top of his career. But when he referenced Coretta Scott King, that actually made me think of how Martin Luther King used to, cheat on her. He was like a serial cheater towards Coretta, but in the public eye, she kind of stayed with him, and that increased his status. This also slightly reminds me of like Beyonce and Jay-Z. It kind of reminds me of that dynamic of the woman is kind of staying by the man's side and increasing his status or making that man appear more wholesome than he really is. And in the meantime, the man is using that woman's presence to boost his ego, or sometimes the man will use that woman so that he can birth his mixed race children and kind of show like, see, look, I made it. I'm a black man that has these ambiguous looking babies. Hey, look, I made it because I was able to create these children that look mixed. By the way, I'm not accusing these people of automatically doing that. These are just some things that I'm throwing out there to make people think. Nothing that I say on this channel, I mean, obviously I don't know these people personally, but this is just my analysis. And also, clearly this can happen in the LGBT community as well, because some of you guys have been commenting saying that you want me to comment on the whole Christian Keys thing. A lot of people are alleging that it's Tyler Perry that he's talking about, because I guess Tyler Perry is the main one that kind of launched this guy's career. But this just goes in perfectly with the talking points that I use on this channel, because I talk all of the time about how men in general, whenever they get into positions of power, those positions of power, they're not using those positions so they can protect people and so they can like do all of these good deeds and have so much integrity and be protectors and providers. No, a lot of men who get into these positions of power, especially if those men have insecurities or inferiority complexes, a lot of those men will use that position to then domineer over a woman or seek out a vulnerable woman with maybe not as much money as him or not as much of a high position as him. And then they will do their best to latch on to that woman and they will slowly over time usurp the energy out of that woman or kind of like break her spirit or try to get that woman as codependent on him as possible. Honestly, I'm very scared for Megan Good. I hope she's okay. I think she's still with Jonathan Majors through this whole thing. But Megan Good is another example of a woman who's in a very vulnerable time because she just went through her divorce with Devon Franklin. And this is not a good look at all. Anyway, what do you ladies think? Have you ever had men in positions of power specifically come after you or use their money or their fame or their title as a way to try to entice you or as a way to humble you? Let me know what you think in the comment section, and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.